Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Healing with Excellence podcast. This is your holistic health expert, Kimberly Miller, and I'm here today to share a very special program we're launching. This is the Healing with Excellence International team, and we are here now to start offering virtual coaching to help anyone anywhere around the world with their healing process. Because right now, we've really been experiencing some rough statistics where, especially in the United States, 54% of 20 to 30-year-olds right now are dealing with an incurable diagnosis. Well, supposedly incurable, but our team has had great success at helping people manage or reverse symptoms. But right now it's considered Crohn's, cancer, multiple sclerosis, and lupus as the top 4 diagnoses for 54% of 20 to 30-year-olds. And all of us know that this is not supposed to be normal. I mean, we have an epidemic still with diabetes 2 in the youth, which used to be called adult onset diabetes. It was never something where an 8-year-old could get diabetes 2. And some of you on this call have reversed your diabetes even in your 60s. So we'd like to be able to help people anywhere around the world to improve their health, because on this call, one of the practitioners that have been through my program, one of my colleagues is Tina. She's in Egypt with me right now, and we have seen, no matter where we're at in the world or who we're working with, that some of the same complications that are happening in the United States and the same misinformation pharmaceutically or medically is kind of happening everywhere. And what's been sad is whether it's a hands-on session or virtual, sometimes it's only like 2 sessions to help someone heal, something they might have been seeking answers for like 10 plus years. And so we're going to share the intention of our program, how we're here to help, and hopefully a few case studies as to how we've already helped people virtually with their healing process. And with any of you that worked with us during COVID, there were so many people getting misinformation or the wrong medication, the wrong protocol, if they were being hospitalized or even at home, maybe getting no help or treatment. And we were able to help many people just by phone, through FaceTime, through Zoom. And so it's very possible to get adequate quality medical care just through this virtual coaching if someone's starting from the foundation up. And sadly, in modern medicine, we're missing some of the basics to biology. And these basics to biology, if they're skipped, all the fancy stuff that's done, all the excess modalities and different diagnostic tools, different tests you can go through, may actually be leading you down a wrong path, making you feel like you're broken or like it's impossible to fix, when really it's just the wrong modality at the wrong time or the wrong approach. So we're going to help kind of share how our foundation works with the Healing with Excellence team. But before I go through that, what I would like to do is we're going to have each person on my team introduce themselves. I've trained about 40 practitioners right now in the Healing with Excellence protocol. Many practitioners on this call have healed themselves through this process or went through some major healing process, or maybe with a family member or other clients. So they're very passionate about getting the word out and helping other individuals go through this healing process the same way that they did. But they're going to introduce their background, why they're passionate about this. And then after their introduction, I'm going to tell you how the process works as to how you become a client or a patient of ours so that we can help with your healing process or maybe preventative care. We've helped multiple people with preventative care or understanding their blood work so that they're not losing time. Sadly, again, sometimes in modern medicine, there's been a lot of fear-based information, fear-based coaching that can maybe cause someone to go on the wrong medication at the wrong time. And so these are things that we can be your advocate. Our goal is to help facilitate healing, prevent chronic disease, and advocate for you in a way where you don't lose time, money, or your quality of life. Many of us on this call lost multiple years or tens of thousands of dollars getting the wrong information. So our motto, at least mine personally, is to get the most results in the least amount of sessions. If I help someone heal in 3 sessions and they tell 40 people, I can still be busy all the time. I don't need to have the same client or patient for 40 times getting no results. And that to me would be depressing, going to bed every night, having a client or a patient that's actually not healing with the information that I'm giving them. So for me, we would like to create positive outcomes and start to really reduce the negative health statistics that we're seeing worldwide, but definitely in the United States. Many of you know we're currently the sickest developed country in the world, and I'd love to see that change at some point. And I think now is really the time in history where everybody's kind of looking for that. We're getting sick of being let down. And many people don't even mind investing time and money in their health if they actually get the outcome that they're looking for. And that's our goal, is to make sure that you get the outcome. And this might sound crazy, but I know for me personally, I have a 98% heal rate, or like a results rate with my clientele base. And so we really do not have to be suffering that the way that we are. Now, before we go into the personal introductions, each person's coming from a different walk of life, because we believe that we need a comprehensive integrative team that can relate with our client or patient that's coming in. So some people on this call are licensed medical professionals. Some people are professional or college athletes. Other people are from like the homeschool world and the banking industry, but they know the stressors of the world that they're coming from, and they also know the shortcomings. So there's a different passion coming from each person on this team to ensure whoever we're working with is getting the right fit at the right time, and that each of us are looking at from our background and our specialty and our passion, our gift. Because as you know, some of you that have been to your physician or your functional medicine doctor or holistic health practitioner, sometimes they're not talking to the other professionals involved in your care. And so for me, I think it's critical for someone's healing, for a physical therapist, a massage therapist, a nurse practitioner, to be looking at the whole. And again, let me just reiterate or help explain what holistic means, because some people believe that it's hocus pocus or something unique, but the word holistic just means looking at the whole person, their whole life, their whole way of life, all 11 organ systems. And so when you have this comprehensive of a team looking at each angle from their background and their passion, it allows us to take a much more integrative, comprehensive, holistic look at your situation to create the best possible outcome, versus one of us having like a specific something we're married to as far as a specific modality, or even our ego. It's not about our ego. It's not about any of us being right. It's just about you getting the fastest results as efficiently as possible, and as effectively as possible, I should say. Some of you are going to have results in 2 to 3 sessions. Others of you, it's going to take 1 to 2 years for healing. It depends on what your background is. It depends on what your diagnosis is. But everybody on this call can relate to you, because some people on this call, it took them 9 months to heal. Other people, it took 2 sessions. So we're going to have something for everyone. Okay, so Amy, could you do me a favor and introduce yourself as to what brought you onto this team and how you look forward to helping?
Hi, so I went through some of my own healing journeys, and 10 years of specialist and seeing multiple doctors and no diagnoses and not getting any better. Found Kim through an article that she had written, and it's mirrored what I was going through. So I reached out to her, and within 1 visit with her, I was feeling tons better. And from there, I realized, wow, I really want to help people feel better. You know, after being frustrated and seeing all these specialists and never feeling better, it gets pretty downing. I'm in the homeschool community, and I see a lot of children dealing with diabetes, Crohn's, different hormonal issues. And it would be nice to help out that community as well. My daughter dances, and those girls always need help with their health.
Yes, athletes need support all the time, and especially dancers. They're doing a lot of the same moves over and over, and they definitely need support. And that's what's great about the majority of people on this team understanding the neuromuscular restoration part of this too. And that's what's great. We're going to be able to look at, you know, their diet, their stressors, their neuromuscular system, and guide them to the right path at the right time. Thank you, Amy, so much for sharing, and thank you for being part of the team. Tina, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your passion for joining the team? It might be muted. Okay, Tina's isn't unmuting yet. If she gets unmuted, she's going to be part of the team. Myra, she's of course part of the team. She's going to do an introduction in a minute. Myra, give us a little bit of history on you and why you're passionate about helping our group.
Thank you, Kim. I'm a nurse practitioner, have been a nurse since 1980, and spent a lot of time in the medical profession trying to help people, and realized, I don't know, somewhere along the journey that I was a spiritual being having a physical experience, and started a spiritual journey, and had a physical ailment that bothered me for about 8 years. And Kim invited me to help her with her office staff and learn how to do belief change, which is my biggest focus, which is what I love to do, help people change old beliefs. And so in our interaction, she was able to do one session with me with the neuromuscular testing, and it totally reversed my issue. And I've seen her several times since then, and I've worked with her as well. So my expertise is really in the area of support. I love to support people in the journey. I support healers, and I also want to help people that are stuck. A lot of times when you're going through something, there's a process that is based in a belief that you might have picked up when you were young. And so that's probably my best area of expertise. And I love the neuromuscular testing. That's going to be my big focus for the team. So I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Myra, for being here. And Myra also has worked an extensive amount with hospice. And although the primary part of our work is helping to prevent the dying process, we all know there's a time where it's time for us to transition. And there's people on this team that are really good at helping us prepare for that, like what kind of resources we might need to help us do that effectively so it's less traumatic, because hindsight's 2020, and there are certain things that if you don't know to prepare ahead of time, it could make the process much more stressful on the entire family. Jess on our team is a previous case manager, as a nurse at the hospital. So helping make sure people have the right things coming home from the hospital, if they're coming from hospital to hospice home. But lots of resources on helping individuals in the hospital in a safe way to get them home safe and healthy, and or if it's really our time to transition over, how to help make that experience much less traumatic than what it has to be. Yeah, thank you, Myra. And then Trish, my love, can you share a little bit about you and then how you like to help on the team?
Sure, thanks, Kim. My background is I'm a physical therapist for almost 27 years now, mostly outpatient and sports medicine. And I met Kim over a dozen years ago as I was trying to find more modalities and more tools for my toolbox. And it's been a wonderful journey. The more I've learned, the more people I've been able to help. And as I've gone through issues myself, I think that has happened so that I know how to help that next patient and be able to serve them better.
Yes, 100%. I feel like each of us will live the thing that we need to heal from, and so that we can help other people more effectively, have a different level of empathy and a different level of understanding what they're going through. I so agree with you.
Absolutely.
And then Trish, previously, you spent many years in an office with a spinal surgeon, correct?
Yes.
Yes, trying to help prevent surgery or to improve the healing process after surgery, correct?
Absolutely. I've worked with surgeons all kinds for over 20 years.
That's wonderful. And see, that's what I love about our team is that, let's say one of our practitioners is working with somebody and we feel we need more feedback from a nurse practitioner, a massage therapist, a physical therapist. We can all rely on each other. And because we've all known each other for so long, or we're like-minded, have the same goal for our outcomes, again, there's no egos involved. It's just about loving each other through this process and supporting each other to create the best possible outcome for each person involved. So thank you, Trish, for being part of our team also. And then Jake, could you give me a little history about you, what brought you this way, and how you want to support the team and our clients?
Yeah. So Kim and I met close to a decade ago at Dallas Mania. It was a personal training convention out there in Dallas, Texas. And we went through a couple of sessions with her. We canceled some other sessions as a whole training staff just to come and see more of what she was talking about. Basic things we were talking about was cell regeneration, rebuilding the house, and just the different things that the metaphors that she used for us to be able to understand them. And it really struck well with our team. We trained upward to about 1,000 clients in our gym at that time. And it really changed the trajectory of that gym and the clients in it. So that was kind of a life-changing moment right there. We thought we kind of knew what was going on from a macro and micro level. Kim came in with her story and talked about those things and allowed us to elevate that for those clients. So moving forward, really, I would love to continue to be able to support the team in that way, and then also provide like motivation, gamify things, make it exciting for people too, because that's something, as you see, I mean, people love games. They want to play games. And if I can help this team and support in that manner, I would absolutely love to. Just a little bit on the case for me from a neuromuscular standpoint. I had a pain in my right shoulder blade for about a couple of years before, and I worked corrective exercise program, met with many PTs, tried many different things, and just couldn't get it figured out. Well, we did a single balance test. My right glute was turned off. My right rhomboid was taking over from my right glute. Well, Kim was able to assess that, figure it out, had me close my eyes and do a test after I was only able to balance for 4 seconds, did it for 30 seconds in front of a group of like, I don't know, maybe 200 people, but it was a pretty groundbreaking thing for me to understand that something just could be blocking that pathway and we just have to figure that out, and boom, looky there, now you're balancing, and then just reiterating that pattern so that my brain was able to figure it out. Also, a big thing for me is I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and they're all athletes. And as I still am a personal trainer on the side, I also am an umpire. So anything active lifestyle wise, I want to be a part of and be able to help people not have to feel the pain. I meet with many umpires who talk about knees, backs, different things. And we'll be able to, just look at a couple different things from our questionnaires and say, okay, maybe tweak a couple of these. They'll come back and say, whoa, I'm not feeling that pain anymore. And to me, that's exciting because that's something that I feel comfortable talking about. And I hope that I'm able to help anybody else who needs that.
I so appreciate that, Jake. And then let me ask you, I know you probably played multiple sports, but what was the main sport that you used to play like in college?
Yeah, I played college football at Texas State University.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and now Jake is extremely competitive, of course. And so when we met in Dallas and he could only balance for 4 seconds in front of this group, and they was like, okay, what's this lady gonna do to me? And then go to 30 seconds. That was very exciting. Definitely a good driving force. But no, it's a big deal. And then yes, as an umpire, he was explaining how he's nourishing himself through the protocols that we follow. He's feeling like he recovers faster. He can handle multiple games. And I think that what Jake said was amazing. And when Jonathan Ross joins the team too, you both are going to help us with, how you said, kind of gamifying it. For me personally, I can still have a lot of fun, but I found over the years as a personal trainer, I was a lot more fun and motivating. And when some of the details started getting much more serious in my career, sometimes you lose that fun in your coaching because everything's so serious and deep, or you're having to share so much academia, so to speak. And I do think keeping the fun through the healing process is critical. And some of the clients that we meet with are going to be athletes that maybe they just had an acute injury. We're going to help them heal faster to prevent a chronic injury. But other people that we get are going to have people with like Lou Gehrig's disease. But that doesn't mean we have to constantly just stay serious. We can make this fun and loving and find ways to keep motivating each other to stay well and take care of ourselves in a very tough time. Because even though each of us here value this, we are still human and we go through the same challenges that each of the clients and patients go through. And we have to find ways to keep ourselves up in this world and make sure that we can be and sustain success, because each of us here believes in walking the walk. We believe in leading by example, and we don't believe in, being hypocrites and not doing what we say. Now, one thing with what Jake said is we're working on a Healing with Excellence app that you'll actually have an app. Anybody that's one of our clients will have an app to follow along with things to help kind of keep them motivated to take care of themselves, or to have customized steps that are required for their specific healing process. So maybe Jake will be in charge of the games that we had under there. But thank you, Jake, for your feedback on that. Steph, can you share a little bit about your background and what brought you onto this team?
Yeah, hi. I came to you 5-6 years ago now, and in chronic pain and diagnosed with Hashimoto's, but I was totally incapacitated for years. I couldn't do anything and except wish that I was dead. So in the process, before that, I was a veterinarian technician and in the fitness world, teaching aerobics classes and yoga, and very type A personality, very driven and very hard on myself. So I had no idea that the healing process also had to do with my how I perceive myself. So as I was getting better through diet and starting to understand and learn that there was a whole aspect to this whole entire thing besides, you know, medication and what I ate, I just my whole outlook on life changed, and I could never dream that I would be the person that I am now, like my true authentic self. And I think that's so important for people to realize, is that we can do everything quote unquote right, but if you don't get right with yourself, there's going to be a gap there. And so I like to say I spent 2023 crying almost every day because I realized that, because I had like a kind of like a stall in my healing. And then 2024, like this big opening where I just did whatever I wanted. I had fun. I brought fun back into my life. And now 2025 feels really cool. Like I'm just letting myself be led and guided. And this is the road I'm on. And it almost just, it brings me so much joy to be here and to share what I'm learning and to continue learning. And I am making an influence over family and friends, even if it's just a little bit. I have to remember, you know, this is just a huge deal, and it is life changing, and it does come very slow, and you have to be very patient with yourself and patient with others. And so, yeah, I'm just excited to be on this call and to see everybody.
Yeah, we're so grateful you're here too to support the team. And something Steph mentioned, she mentioned vet tech. And this might be strange to those of you that are looking to become a client or patient of our group. We've had many clients over the years have also concerns with their animals having health issues that are not being solved by modern medicine, regular veterinarian care. And so there's many of us on this team that have also helped our clients' pets through holistic healing, and some that will share their stories in the future. But because of Steph and many people on this call's passion with animals, and again, this is also part of your healing process, is some of my clients that have dealt with chronic health issues have actually been due to grieving with a pet, or a pet that's having a health problem, or their child that's having a health problem. So we really like to look at the whole, like when we talk about Myra being like a family care practitioner, we're really talking about the whole family here. I mean, we've helped people 6 months of age to 97 years of age, and definitely all different types of animals. Tina on the call has worked with multiple farm animals. Jake works with cows and different things. And we're all here about trying to raise our families and animals as natural and healthy as possible. So some of you might need help with your pets that are having recurring problems, or even if you're trying to create more of a natural farm. And it might sound weird throwing that into this call, but everything goes hand in hand. And like with Tina, some of you know she owns and runs Healing Roots Gardens, and she was teaching people how to start their own organic farm. So some of you that are going to be our client or customer that's looking for healing, that needs support without having to do a ton of research, that's our goal. Because some people have a tough time healing because they're constantly on the computer researching, trying to figure out how to heal themselves, how to grow their food, how to do this, how to do that. And sometimes when you're constantly connected, you can't be a human being and a human healing and a human recovering. You're just like a constant human doing. And so our goal is to reduce that excess work, let the specialist here kind of provide you with some resources so that, again, you can take that energy into your healing process. And instead of you having to wing each of these areas, like try to figure out what's right for you, you use our years of expertise, and whatever your gift is as our patient client in your own life, you utilize your time for that versus trying to be the nurse practitioner, the gardener, the massage therapist. We're going to kind of help guide you with that. Thanks, Steph, for being part of our team. Marlene, can you share a little bit about your background and why you're here?
I am a licensed massage therapist since 2006, and I met you in 2018. And I've often shared that you're the one that helped pull it all together for me. I was just doing medical massage and neuromuscular, and although it did have some reflexive to it, every time you touch a body, you keep feeling all of these things, and I had no name for it. But I was starting to take pain home with me from my clients. So I was searching, looking for how I needed to ground myself better. So after I met you and started taking your classes, I saw how you pulled the mental, the physical, and the spiritual all together as a whole. And that was my biggest awakening on even my own journey to health also. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. And then you just got certified in Reiki, correct? You did
Yes.
some distance work also on that. And then Marlene also,
Yes.
she's done her own podcast with me. She personally reversed diabetes too, right? And also normalized her cholesterol after years of not being able to get it normal, doing every diet plan, everything her doctor told her. I think your cholesterol was normal within 3 months, right? In your 60s?
It was. And I've had 2 steaks today, so people just don't believe that.
Yes. And she lost like 60 pounds to that process. So yes, so
Yeah.
I'm very grateful. We met at another healing modality in Orlando. And I was trying to be like loving and nice, but not offer too much advice because I was there as a student too, but she was talking about she was going to do some juicing for her healing. She was going to do that. I'm like, oh, but then eventually we connected like 6 months later. And now it's been amazing to see that healing journey too. Thank you, Marlene, for offering your love and your expertise to the team.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, Jess, can you share a little bit of your history and how you're going to help our patients with their healing process?
Absolutely. Thanks, Kim, and team. I'm just really blown away. This never gets old talking and hearing everyone. I found Kim actually 2 times. One time that didn't proceed because it wasn't the right time yet. But most recently, it was just a few years ago. It's weird to say a few years ago, but as an RN working in a big area hospital, I was putting myself through the ringer with stress there. I also tend to be the type A person, very hard on myself. So there's a lot of inner work there too that was at play. Spent a lot of time too kind of toying around with different diets and exercise programs, vegan, vegetarian, and it just all compiled for the perfect storm that led me to Kim and our wonderful group that's now becoming this team. And so I had a recurring health issue that actually took me out. It's amazing when we can't figure out or don't take the time to figure out how to transition into a healthier space, our bodies will make us do it. So that's what my body did. It said, no, ma'am, I'll take you out for you. And so I started working with Kim, and I had a longer journey, probably from ingrained thought patterns as well, just switching gears. It took me a little bit longer. And I think too, on how long it took me to get the health issues that I was having, they don't always just resolve overnight. So there was a lot of trust and faith during the process and lessons that I needed to learn. I would say it probably took me about a year until I felt like, okay, like I had little glimpses throughout that year, but at that year mark, I was like, okay, all right. So I've also helped family members with little, ailments here and there, and seeing them, be better and happier. It brings me joy. And the different clients that I've helped, both myself and with Kim, we've already kind of started working on that overlap within our team, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So there's been mention of sports. I am a team player, played organized sports, so I'm excited for that element to it too. The fun, really bringing that fun and joy into the healing process, because it's hard. it's hard in today's world. I think it's hard anytime, but especially where we're at right now. So I am super grateful and excited to see where we go and who we get to help.
Thank you so much, Jess. Yes, Jess is a registered nurse that reached out to me in 2016 on Facebook Messenger, but because we weren't friends on Facebook, it didn't come through to me. It went in that other field. And it wasn't until years later, like almost 6 years later, she reached out again, because back in 2016, her gut was telling her to go more holistic, to walk away. But she's like, oh, I didn't hear back from her. I can keep going. And like literally 5 or 6 years later, she comes back around and her body said, no, you're going to do this now or else you're not going to heal. So sometimes our physical body is expressing what our mind and spirit has been telling us for quite some time. And if we ignore that, the physical body will represent those symptoms to let you know, look, we've got to change course where you're at right now. So I'm so grateful to have Jess on the team. And once she went through what she went through in the hospital with COVID, she definitely had to transition out of that career. And what I love about what her, Myra, and a few people on this call have been through, they're just really great support for us, helping people that need to have a safe discharge from the hospital, or we can prevent an admission. Like Steph on the call, we went through some chronic stuff during COVID together that we were able to utilize the hospital for what we needed, but not have someone admitted to the hospital. And so that's what's so great. We can help guide you and help you with learning how to read your patient portal at the hospital, to understand your blood work. Myra and Jess were both in one of my first Healing with Excellence practitioner programs that is done virtually. And in the medical field, they were astonished that some of the stuff they learned in that course on how to read blood work and how to correct it naturally was not taught to them the first year in medical school. They're like, why is this not being taught to me, right? And it was hard for them to sleep at night at first, because there were so many patients going on in their head that they could reflect back to, that there was actual answers that they would have gotten had they learned that in their first year of medicine. And some of them too dealt with people with tachycardia, elevated heart rate, dizziness, high blood pressure. And they learned later that was all coming from a neck issue, that the blood pressure medicine was never going to work, or they didn't need their heart shock. They actually needed their neck muscle corrected to help free up their phrenic nerve, or some other nerve that was stressed in the body, right? Or some artery that was compressed. So thank you guys for being part of the team and being willing to work together. Diana, do you mind introducing your background and kind of how you got led down this path and how you'd like to help our patients?
Sure. My name's Diana. I'm a speech language pathologist and have been doing it for 31 years. The past 15 years, it's been solely pediatric. I have my own practice, so I actually go to everyone's houses. I met Kim a long time ago, before she actually started doing all this, but I really saw a change in me, and I've helped some family members, just not only seeing some small pain or any issues with that or different things, but seeing also how much emotion and stress play into our healing. And that really carries over for me for the families I work with, because there's so much stress for the special needs families, that whether it be the child itself or the parent, to not just work on the importance of nutrition and understanding their bodies, and if there's healing for neuromuscular, of course, but pulling in that stress issue and learning how to deal with that can really help them to function so much better in the situation. And my heart is really for that. But I'm excited to be a part of the team.
Yes, and that's what's so great. And just, we'll talk about this more a little bit later, but everybody on this team, again, has a different specialty, a different gift. And you'll see soon on the Healing with Excellence website, their specific business linked in to where if you just need to hire them for their specific specialty, you can hire them directly. But if you need something specific from our full team, where we're going to help you with the healing process or preventative care, maybe we work with a lot of athletes that are trying to stay in the game and keep their scholarship and be in as long as they want versus their body taking them out. You know, they want to be able to make the choice when to leave their sport versus their body making that choice. But thank you, Diana, for sharing that. I'm so grateful to have your specialty on the team. It's going to really help us. And we do work with children on the spectrum. There's a lot of things missed in various protocols that's addressing like you said, stress relief, diet, neuromuscular issues that aren't addressed in modern medicine or allopathic model. And so I'm grateful that we can fill in the gaps for that, like the little missing link or missing puzzle piece to somebody's complete healing process. outcome. Some individuals are utilizing approaches that are giving them like a 50% gain, but they think maybe it's helping them get by and at least giving them some quality of life or preventing their decline. But some individuals don't realize that they could have a 90% gain or maybe a complete healing if things are addressed at the right time, right? So Renee, can you share a little bit about your background and what brought you to this team?
Yes, I can. Hi, everyone. I have been a massage therapist since about 2007. And through that journey, I started noticing repetitive clients coming in, and we weren't getting very far with our progress because it was just, there was something missing. So I went on a journey to find more CEUs, and I met you about 5 years ago. And so we did some different healing modalities at your location in Florida. And that kind of opened my eyes a little bit to go, okay, I have some pieces here, but I'm trying to connect all the puzzle pieces together. And so really what I'd like to bring to the team is just be able to, whoever comes into my space, be able to hold space for them at that time. Because I am also currently in acupuncture school and I'll be done in about 6 months. So with these different modalities that I have and in my arsenal, I feel like I'm being able to meet clients because I own a business here. I feel like I'm able to meet clients where they're located at the time that they're at, and we just kind of smoothly move and transition to where they want to go. And I think that's really where I come in, is just, holding space for them. So I'm excited to work with everybody, though. It seems like a dream come true, because back in massage school, this was I literally have the board in my room. This was my dream, was to bring practitioners together to help heal people and bounce ideas off of each other and find the missing links that they can't find in modern medicine nowadays. So I'm super excited to be a part of the team. Thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you, Renee. And some of you know I have had a holistic healthcare business facility for more than 15 years in the Florida area. And exactly what Renee said, I always wanted to bring in a comprehensive team. But the thing is when you want the best of the best of the best run their own businesses, or they're doing their own thing. And it's really hard also if you're in one location to help people all over the world, unless you are doing virtual work. So what I really loved about this concept is each person can be their own individual, have their own business entity. Because as some of you know that are clients and patients coming on, when you run a business and you develop a really great employee, oftentimes they go out and do their own thing. And so all the people on this team are the leaders. And so they need to have their own thing and be their own person, their own entity. But it's just an awesome way for us to help people anywhere. And when you said acupuncture, or like Trish is an expert at dry needling, what I want our clients and patients to know, that even if we never get to physically lay hands on you, what's the gift about this team? We know how to vet out the people in your area that are the best for you, like who's actually skilled to help guide you and help them be part of your modality or part of your healing process, versus you losing time going to the wrong practitioner at the wrong time. And or some of the methods we do, we're able to kind of like teach your brother, your son, your mother how to muscle test you. I've helped many people heal virtually on a physical problem just by teaching another family member what I would be doing. Like, we're the brain and they're the hands. So if we do need to work with one of you hands-on, because we are spread throughout the country and some of us actually throughout the world, you might be near one of us to work on you hands-on. Or I've had people that are on vacation in Florida, Virginia, California, that we can meet one-on-one during that time. But there's multiple things that we can start to address before anybody touches you physically, because the majority of healing takes place with how you treat your body at home. There's about 144 hours or something in a week, and how you treat yours, 168 hours, how you treat your body throughout that week is really what's going to determine your healing process. And if we can help you with how you eat, think, breathe, nourish yourself, that's really our key, because that's what sustains the healing process. If someone does meet with me physically, how they treat their body when they leave my office is what's going to create really the positive or the negative outcome. And that's our goal, is to help teach you what's in our brain so that you're empowered. What Steph said earlier, and this is what multiple clients and patients have told me, is that it wasn't just the healing of the physical pain that was rewarding to them, but the level of empowerment and the complete evolution of who they are to become their best possible self was actually more rewarding than even overcoming the pain. And that's what's been so profound about this, is helping set people free, sometimes from their own mind and body, right? Tina, were you able to access your thing? If not, I can do an update for you later. If you can, great.
good.
Thank you. Can
Thank
you
you for-
please, yes, can you please share how you got to this team and what you're passionate about serving with?
Absolutely. So I first met Kim to help myself with neuromuscular, and then it evolved into helping my late husband manage his symptoms. And I was able to work intimately with her and see how neuromuscular, how his diet, how learning to read blood work really gave him a good quality of life. After that, then it evolved into me being able to see firsthand, besides my late husband, seeing in Egypt how we are changing so many people's lives. And it just really encouraged me to want to be able to help people, along with helping myself, of course, continue. I have worked with animals because one of the things that I was passionate about was growing our own food and our own proteins. So I've worked with many animals and doing it all organically. So I decided to take the route of teaching people how to like start their homesteads or start their organic gardens. So incorporating that all together into one piece is what's really I'm passionate about, and helping, heal ourselves naturally.
Yeah, I know, it's so exciting. And if Tina, if you're okay, I want to just share a little bit. So
Yep.
It's really critical that we do share this so that people know that wherever you're at on the spectrum of conventional, allopathic, holistic, whatever path you want to take for your healing process, how we can serve you. Tina's husband, I met in 2018, and he had stage 4 metastasized colon cancer in 2018. By the time I met him, he already had colon cancer, and his dad is a physician. And although he kind of wanted to go the natural route, he also wanted to go the conventional route to kind of please everybody and himself. And so he chose conventional treatment. But because he was doing what we would coach doing, and I was monitoring his blood work with his cancer doctors, his oncologist, and checking to see, like, was his platelets down, was his white blood cell count down. We would delay chemo like an extra week if we saw something was down. We wouldn't follow the normal protocol, and I would make sure that he wasn't being over medicated. So from 2018 to 2023, he was able to work the full time with metastasized stage 4 colon cancer. It was amazing to see how much, I mean, most people didn't even know he had cancer until right towards the very end. And the only reason that he ended up passing when he did is they tried an experimental chemo. And he was too scared to let go of that process. And we understood, we supported him the best that he could, but an experimental chemo did cause chronic liver failure that we couldn't return from. But where the gift was in this knowledge is his mom died of cancer in a hospital, and his dad, even being a physician, could not get his mom home to die at home on the farm. Dan was in the hospital, and he had woke up long enough to call me. And I got to the hospital. He was being medicated with morphine every 4 hours in the IV and a pill form, being woke up every alternating 4 hours. He was almost completely knocked out. And even if he wasn't in pain, he was still being given being woken up to give an extra dose of morphine orally. And so he wanted me to either see if I can help him reverse liver failure or to get him home. So I got him stable enough in the hospital to get him transferred to a different hospital. And Tina was able to be there with me, and she was able to see what that process is like, having to advocate for someone's life, making sure that they're kept comfortable, but not being over medicated to where they're just being put to sleep. And she saw how intense that can be, but we were able to get Dan stabilized, to get him home, and he was able to be on the farm. And he actually had a few really good days to be able to spend with family and say goodbye. And his dad was able to be with him. And his dad, as a retired Johns Hopkins physician, full ride scholarship, said, "Kim, I don't know how you got him home. I couldn't even get my wife home. I'm so grateful my son got to die here on the farm." So we can't, sometimes it's really our time to go, but having an advocate can make that process where, and those of you that have worked in the hospital know, sometimes the hospital just does what they want with your body. There's no informed consent. They're not telling you what's actually going to happen. And it's more about what they think is right versus what's right for the patient because of training. And I share this story here because it's still very critical. In Tina's situation, her husband, he wanted to be home. Well, one nurse knew him from a few years back. She knew he was doing some natural stuff. Well, she thought we were just these natural freaks that didn't want him to have any morphine. We would just want to keep him in pain. And she tried to fight to make sure he got the extra medication and thought we were torturing him. Even though he was saying he wanted it, his dad was agreeing as a physician there, and we were. And so she tried to go above our heads to keep the medication going at the same level. I luckily knew directors in the hospital and wrote a letter to the head director of the floor. And I had to write, literally in the middle of a chronic chaotic situation, I had to write like a 6-paragraph email to explain the why, help paint the whole picture. And he then apologized. But I said to the nurse, how could you possibly think you care more about him than we do? Like, you know more of his desires, you know more than you really think we're trying to torture him right before he dies by not giving him more morphine. And so it was a really profound, life-altering situation for us, very emotional. I tell Tina I still haven't recovered since 2023. But as a whole, that's who you need on your team. If you have a family member that is going to go through the dying process, but you want your wishes or their wishes to be honored, you may need an advocate that knows that system to make sure it happens. Because to me, when I'm in my dying process, I want someone to hear me. I've watched people be completely ignored about their wishes, and whoever that person was on staff that day that just met them 8 hours ago does whatever they want. And then that completely changes the closure and how you help your loved one through that dying process, right? We want to be respected through that process. Now, before I kind of recap how this team works for the general public, is there anybody else that just wanted to say something from what we just talked about or any of our introductions? Anybody from our team? Okay, we're good. We've really covered a lot in a short amount of time. I'm so great. And guys, for those of you that are listening or watching, we really have like 20 other amazing people on this army and many more to come. And those of you that are professionals that may want to be part of this team or would like to be part of your gift, you can always become part of our team by having a discussion with me, a discussion with our team, and just attending the Healing with Excellence practitioner course. I can help lay that out for you. But in the short term, if you just want us as your advocates, it's definitely the best investment you can make. So how our team works and how the process is, if you're interested in having us on your side, you would just, I'm going to put links and information in the show notes and wherever I post this to where you can sign up for a wellness evaluation. You'll meet for the initial wellness evaluation. We'll be sending you health paperwork. You're going to complete that health paperwork and send it back in. If you have any blood work or patient portal that you want us to view or any diagnostics, you can send that, or you can send me the patient portal login, and we will have you on a Zoom and share the screen and go through the data with you. When you send us the health paperwork, we will set up an appointment that works for you. And all of us, as many of us as possible that can be on the call, will be there. They'll kind of sit in the background with their cameras off, though, to still give you some level of privacy or comfort. Sometimes if it's one person, you want 10 people looking at you on your first initial evaluation. So I'll be going through questions from your health history, and we will set up your initial healing plan or game plan. We'll also look at who you're already meeting with. Some of the people on your team are probably already amazing. We just might have to figure out what spot they're supposed to be in. So you might need to use like chiropractic 3 months from now versus right now. So we're going to look at who's currently on your team, how to help you manage that to actually get the outcomes you want. Once you start your initial healing plan, all of us on the team are available to you, but we will have follow-up appointments set up based on how many appointments you might need or who you might need to meet with. So we'll make sure you'll have the right person on the team that's the right fit for you. You might get 3 of us following up on you specifically. And then we're going to have a private group, mostly on Facebook, but we're also working on, like I said, with the app and through email, where you could post questions to us in between your sessions. Because I don't want you to wait. Like if we start you on an initial plan and your follow-up appointment isn't for 3 weeks, we don't want you to lose time. And sometimes you can make some inadvertent mistakes, like maybe buying the wrong supplements or someone trying to sell you some other kind of like a stem cell injection, whatever it is. we want you to be able to ask questions in between your sessions so that if you have a clarification that you need, or if one of your friends is telling you to do something different, where we can answer you with the pros and cons. So you'll have a full-time, basically, support system, almost like a medical concierge service. And then again, it could take 3 sessions to help you heal. It could take 25 sessions. Our main goal is to match toward your time, budget, energy, because sometimes if you're meeting with us too much, that's going to take away your time, money, and energy, and it's actually going to delay your healing process. So again, I'm more about efficiency and effectiveness, where we're giving you things that are going to give you the greatest return on your effort involved. So if you would like to have the Healing with Excellence team, our international tribe on your side and helping you through your healing process, or helping to guide you, or helping you with how to keep your family healthy, please message me. Please follow up on the links that I post with this. Or if there's someone specific from our group that you want to meet with, message me and I'll definitely connect you with them, because the main goal is, again, just to help create the best outcomes and help reduce these negative health statistics that are completely unnecessary. I want to thank each of you that have listened to this show, watched the show, and please, again, message anytime for clarification, because although we've tried to be thorough and authentic, some of this is just going to be completely different than any of you have ever been exposed to. So I expect that some of it's going to sound strange, or you might speculate, what's going to work for you. But just take what resonates with you and reach out to me for any further clarification that you have. And thank you again so much for listening to the Healing with Excellence podcast. We hope you have a beautiful day.